Welcome back to episode 3 of the FullRange podcast. I'm your host, Matt Johnson. Our podcast is brought to you by the Ole Walls House Podcast with Jordan Wollenburg, a good friend of mine. Keep listening to this podcast, keep supporting the channels. A quick thank you to all of you who joined us on social media this week. We gained some followers this week. We got a couple more shares than the first episode, so keep that train rolling. Keep sharing the podcast. Keep supporting us. Keep commenting on things. And we got a great show for you today. I'm super excited. So first of all, again, after the episode, comment, subscribe to the Ole Walls House Podcast. Do all those social media things for us. It only helps us grow a little bit. And please, be a part of the community. If you have any ideas or segments, or if you know somebody who wants to join a podcast and maybe they own a small business, please let us know and we'll do our best to put them on our FullRange podcast. So today's show, super exciting. We're kind of going to cut it a little bit short. So we're kind of skipping the coach's corner a little bit. We're going to just post our bets for the weekend on the socials, especially on Instagram at FullRange Pod. So make sure you join us on there for all your best bets for Thursday night football, Friday and Saturday night college football, and the NFL and Monday night football games as well. So today we're just going to basically break this down into 2 segments. The first segment is going to be our mental health minute, talking a little bit about parenting today, the challenges of being a fixer at times when it comes to parenting and relationships and things like that. We also have a little bit of workout wisdom in there mixed in with the mental health minute, basically just talking about my personal life. And we're also going to have our very first new segment called We Rank It, Thanksgiving Food Edition, where once a month we have this segment. We bring in some people, and this is where we're going to rank some items. So you may have seen other social media outlets or podcasts or anything do that too. We're going to do it from the top 5 of those items. So this week, since Thanksgiving's coming up a week from today, we are going to rank our favorite top 5 Thanksgiving foods or drinks, whatever it might be during Thanksgiving time. So we're going to bring in Mr. Jordan Wollenburg from the Ole Walls House Podcast. We're going to bring in Jordan Clark, our friend that helps us out with so much of our college football betting and Coach's Corner stuff. And we're also going to bring in Billy Gardner, who helps us with the Coach's Corner, our workout wisdom segments, as you've seen before, and a good friend of the podcast. So I'm super excited to have 3 guests joining us today. So we're going to jump right into this thing with our mental health minute. So up first today, kind of getting into a new little area here. So I'm down in like the little dungeon basement, set up some things behind me, as you may have noticed if you're watching the video and not just listening to us. I got my Cowboys helmet behind me. Get a little different setup. Also had some audio issues while recording, so I got the headset on today. Hopefully the audio's coming in loud and clear. Seems to be doing a little bit better than it was when I first started, so we'll find out during the editing process as much as I can here before this drops. So our first segment today, the Mental Health Minute, is going to be a little bit about parenting, but we're going to kind of dive into a little bit what's going on in the past week for me. I've been deathly sick these last few days. There was even a moment where I was like, can I even do the podcast this week? But I'm pushing through. I'm souped up on medicine and Tylenol and NyQuil at night, and it's been tough to breathe, been tough to sleep and everything. And with basketball in full swing now, me as the JV coach out in Troy, it's been a challenging week. So I hope everybody's been having a good week. Our football boys out in Troy have won a district championship as of last Friday. If you listened into the podcast last week, sadly, Jordan Clark's team did lose against Harrisburg in a well-fought game. Shout out to those guys. Another really good season. But the Troy boys are still going. I'm super excited for them. They're down in Lock Haven University this week in the first round of the states. It's been a pretty interesting beginning to our basketball season because we do have about half the guys that are typically going to be playing basketball, still playing football. So they haven't been around at practices. They haven't been really in the gym very much. A few of them have stopped in and seen some things or worked on some things, some light shooting. But for the majority of them, a lot of those guys are starters on a really good football team, and their focus is on there as it should be. And it's been really interesting for me as a basketball coach going into this with football kind of going into basketball season. Typically in the past, I've been a part of some teams, I've coached some teams that might have a few guys get to a district championship team or a district championship level, whether it be in cross country or football or whatever it might be. And it's never really affected basketball season too much. They may have missed the first couple practices, they get back into the flow thing, and there we go. And without getting too far ahead of ourselves, we have a good shot of going pretty far here. Obviously, you don't want to, just assume things. But the team's rolling right now. They look really good. They're relatively healthy for how healthy you can be at this point of the year. And I really hope they can keep this thing going. Best case scenario, they're playing for a state championship and they're missing possibly our first game or two of our basketball season. It's a great problem to have. Shout out to all those guys doing their jobs and being fully about team, and it's a really talented group. I love a lot of those guys. I know a lot of them personally through coaching basketball, and we wish them the best. Obviously, I don't know if you can tell through the microphone, but I haven't been feeling the best, as I said, and it's been a struggle to get to the gym, so a little bit of workout wisdom here. Give yourself some grace. If you miss a few days in the gym because you're not 100%, don't push yourself and understand that it's going to be okay. I struggle with it. I know Bill and I in the Workout Wisdom a couple episodes ago, in the first episode, we talked about just how much better we feel mentally and physically when we're going in the gym consistently, and we feel awful when we don't get a chance to go. But I've really just been like, there's nothing I can do about it except for focus on how I can get better for today. Been loading up on medicine, trying to get sleep. Sleep has been the devil for me. It's been awful to try to sleep. I've been propping myself up and doing all these voodoo things on myself, taking Tylenol, ibuprofen, whatever it might be. I've been trying just about everything. And it's been difficult mentally more probably than physically, not going to the gym because I'm not at 100%. I haven't done any cardio in the last 5 or 6 days. I've only lifted twice, and they were kind of quick workouts. Didn't go like really, really hard. Didn't want to push it too much, and trying to get better. So as we get closer to Thanksgiving, I'm really hopeful that this gets all done and over with by then. So, for the Workout Wisdom this week, just really quick, like, if you are struggling with the consistency and you have a couple days where you're not healthy, or you had a family comes into town, or you're on a trip and you're trying to enjoy yourself, give yourself some grace, give yourself some time off. I was actually having a conversation with my mom. I took her up to Syracuse a couple weekends ago for just basically Christmas shopping, spend the day with mom. We used to do that when I was a kid. And I told her, she was like, I really want to try to lose some weight after the holidays and all this stuff. And I said, why wait until then? Start tomorrow. And I told her, I said, you might have, let's say there's 60 days left before January 1st. And 8 or 10 of those days, you're going to have a family function. You're going to eat like a pig, basically. You're going to go out and drink with your buddies. You're going to do all these extra things. That's still 52 days or 50 days even, or 45 days even, of really making good choices and being consistent. I think that's where sometimes you just have to be like, right now, I'm sick. Can't be full going at the gym. I can't run, or I'm winded after 10 steps. It's going to be fine. it's just frustrating at times because you feel like you're gaining momentum and then all of a sudden it kind of comes to a halt. So for those of you out there that are thinking about waiting until January 1st, start November 21st. Start tomorrow. Start today. So, and if you go buck wild on a Saturday night at the bar, it's okay. Just get back on the horse on Sunday. The next thing is kind of part of our mental health minute. And this week I wanted to change it up a little bit and go with some parenting slash relationship type advice. It's going to be more about parenting for me. Last week, my oldest daughter Marley she came home. She just started up basketball. She's in 4th grade and she's super excited, super focused, and we've been super proud of her for how focused she's been and putting in some extra work, and really, her goal is to make the traveling team and doing all these great things. And at school, she's struggled with a couple tests, and she's done really good with some tests. And one night I came home from practice and, eating dinner, I walk in and she's finishing up her dinner and she says, "Dad, I did so good at basketball tonight. I was dribbling with my left hand and doing all these really cool things." And she was describing it. She was super, super excited. And I immediately went into that role of like coach / wanting more from her. And I think sometimes as parents, I think we want our kids to succeed so much, or our loved one to succeed so much, or a friend to succeed so much, is sometimes we're like, well, what else? What now? Like, what can we do moving forward to get even better and better and better? And later that night, I thought nothing of the conversation. After the conversation was over, I basically told her, "Hey, next practice, go even harder. Try to go a little bit quicker. If you're losing the ball when you're dribbling, it's okay. That means you're pushing yourself to make those mistakes. And when you make those mistakes, you're going to get big, you're going to get better. You're going to get stronger at it. And then it'll go into your games." And, she took it in like she always does. She's always a really good sport, wants to be good at it. She's very self-motivated with it, and that's important. And then she talked about some of her tests or quizzes, and she said that she was proud of herself because she did well in school, and then she brought up a test that she didn't do so well in. I think she got like a C- or a D. And it was just a small quiz, 5, 6, 7 questions. So if you miss 2 or 3 of them, it's already, at that D or C level. And immediately, again, I wanted to fix it. Well, have you been studying? Were you paying attention? What can we do better next time? Can you go talk to your teacher? Can you do everything? And she took it in really, really well. Later on, come to find out, she gets out of the shower, she's talking to Jen, and she's just breaks down in tears. And she was very disappointed in herself, wanted to do better. She was upset that her grade was down. And in that moment, I had that conversation of like, not everybody's a fixer, and not everybody wants to, if they have a problem, not everybody wants an immediate fix. And sometimes when we are going through something, heartbreak or a tough day at work or a bad practice or a bad day at school, we just want somebody to listen to us. And I have a very difficult time as a father, even sometimes as a coach, even sometimes in my friendships, relationships, whatever it might be, very, very hard time just listening and not trying to solve every problem in that moment. And I think it was important for me to have a conversation later with myself and Jen and everybody, just kind of thinking like, how could I have handled that situation better? Because I think in that moment, Marley didn't want a fix of the problem. She just wanted to tell me, "Hey, Dad, I did really good at basketball today, and I'm proud of myself for working really hard in school." And at that moment, I probably should have just said, "Great job. I'm proud of you. I love you." And that was it. And just let her go after that. Go to bed, just enjoy it, be her dad for a little while. And I really regretted it. And I immediately wrote it down in my phone and was like, maybe this would be a good little talk on the podcast to some parents out there, coaches out there, or if you're in a relationship, and just sometimes those moments when your significant other, daughters or sons or whoever it might be, your friend is struggling, sometimes just listen and shut your mouth, really, is what it comes down to. And just be there. And I think through that, you're going to build a lot of trust with them. And in that trust, you're going to be able to find moments to push them and be that problem solver that they might be more ready for. So I just thought it was interesting to think about and kind of self-evaluate my parenting in that moment. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. And one of the things that I moving forward as we go through this journey together is some of this is just going to feel like a therapy session. Some of this is going to feel like it doesn't connect to you. But I always try to broaden it to a point where somebody out there, you listening, friends listening, whatever, can connect it to a part of their life. And maybe it only hits one of you or 5 of you or 10 of you or whatever that might be listening. But maybe it helps you in a certain situation or helps you be better the next time a certain situation pops up. So go out there and be kind, be a good listener. Don't always try to fix the problem as soon as it pops up. If it feels necessary that it's something that you got to take care of right away, trust your instincts. If you feel bad about what you said afterwards, go back and fix it. For instance, the next morning on our way to school, told her how proud of her that I was, whether it came to basketball or school or any other sport or activity. And as long as she's working hard and giving good effort, I was going to be proud of her, and I'll always love her no matter what. And go out and do that for somebody. And also, you can do it for yourself as well. So, up next, we are skipping the Coach's Corner this week. We will post our NFL and college football bets on Instagram and Twitter at the FullRange Pod. I promise I'll get those out through sickness and in health. And up next, we have our good friends, Jordan Wollenburg, Jordan Clark, Billy Gardner, to come in for our very first time, our once-a-month segment, We Rank It, Thanksgiving Food Edition, where we're going to rank our top 5 favorite items to have at Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving coming up next week. It's a great time. I'm super excited for this segment. A little fun to end the podcast. And I hope you guys stick around for just a second. We're going to bring those guys in now, and we'll see you in just a sec. Here they are. We got a couple great friends of mine and great friends of the podcast. We have Mr. Billy Gardner. Let's start off with him. Obviously, friend of the pod, has been in the workout wisdom section of our podcast before. Bill, how you doing?
I'm good, MJ. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Hopefully, you can hear me. I know I'm having some audio issues, so we'll play around with it.
Yep, I got you.
Also, bringing back Mr. Jordan Clark, friend of the Coach's Corner, giving us all the college football knowledge. Jordan, how you doing?
Good, MJ. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man. Trying to get over some sickness, but we're pushing through it.
Me too.
And for the first time on the FullRange podcast, we have the host and the sponsor of the FullRange podcast from the Ole Walls House Podcast, Jordan Wollenburg. Wally, how you doing?
Great, MJ. I like this side of the recording, just coming, hanging out, saying some dumb shit, and not having to worry about it.
I love it. So for the first time, we're going to try to do this once a month. You guys are more than welcome to do this. It'd be kind of boring if I did it by myself. We are going to start a new segment today. We call it We Rank It, and today's is going to be the Thanksgiving Food Edition. Now, it does not have to be food, boys, so if you just focused on food, it doesn't have to be food. But we're going to rank from the first spot, our favorite thing to have at Thanksgiving, all the way down to the bottom at the 5 spot. So where I'd like to start is some honorable mentions. So there's thousands. It felt like when I was doing some research of what I was going to put into my top 5, and it was hard. I don't know if you guys kind of had that feeling as well. But I had a couple honorable mentions, so we'll kind of start with Bill on this go around. Bill, did you have any borderline food, drinks, or anything that you were like, this almost made the top 5?
Yeah, I got 2 honorable mentions. One is stuffing. I know that's a big favorite for people, but for me, it's just okay. And then my other honorable mention was deviled eggs. Usually a big plate of deviled eggs. The only reason they didn't make my top 5 is because I'll eat the whole tray. So I love deviled eggs, but I don't want them to spoil the main course, so they got to drop to honorable mention.
I love it. Clarky, how about you for an honorable mention?
I'll be honest with you, MJ. You kind of just threw me for a curveball. I thought we were just doing foods. So I brought one in, and I'll take out my 5. So I didn't have any honorable mentions, but I'm going to throw turkey now as my honorable mention because that was my 5, and there's something that's going to take its spot.
Okay. A little curveball to the top 5 for Clarky there. So we got turkey outside of the top 5.
Love turkey, but...
Okay. Wally, give us
I want to start off by saying that Thanksgiving is by far the best holiday of the year. 100%. Football on. NFL taking over Christmas now, too, is going to help Christmas, but Thanksgiving by far the best holiday. Christmas, everything gets done too early in the day, and then you're left with nothing to do. Thanksgiving, all-day thing, multiple meals sometimes. My honorable mentions. I also had stuffing. Just didn't quite make the cut for me. I also have apple and pumpkin pie. Apple pie I put in the honorable mention because it feels like while it is a very Thanksgiving pie, it also goes all year round. It's the American pie. So I put that there.
Okay. So I kind of disagree with the Thanksgiving thing. Listen, Thanksgiving's probably a top 3 holiday, but for some reason I can't get past putting Christmas. Underrated 4th of July.
Ooh, no.
4th of
That's
July
number 2.
is a real solid. You get the heat of the summer. You know, you got your glizzies and your hamburgers, all that good stuff, cooking on the grill, fireworks, maybe, whatever it might be. Underrated one. But for my honorable mention, I also had stuffing. So I know you guys are talking about stuffing. It's just solid, man. The little bites of the crunchy and the bread. I really like stuffing. That almost made the top 5. For my honorable mention, though, right at that 6th spot is alcohol. Alcohol. I mean, I love making a fancy Moscow Mule or like just something, a little different that I normally don't get to drink a lot of. A good alcoholic drink, you're with your family all day, you want to just get plastered and watch some football. You want to separate yourself like in a different room so you can scream at the TV for a little while watching the guys behind me here, the Cowboys. And just having that buzz all day long, and you don't have to worry about work the next day. I think that's the best one. So I will start with the 5 spot for me, and then we'll kind of go in reverse order. Sitting at number 5 for my top 5 Thanksgiving foods is scalloped corn. Now I think corn is kind of sucks. I think by itself it's kind of plain.
Hey now.
I don't know. It's probably the worst vegetable for you if you're going to rank vegetables of like healthiness and stuff. But there's something about just having that like creaminess with the little pieces of crunchy corn. It kind of brings it all together. Scalloped corn, I think, is a very, very solid Thanksgiving dinner item. So, Wally, what do you got for your 5 spot?
Before I hit my 5, can I ask a quick question about the crunchiness in your stuffing? Am I the only one who heard that and thought...
What are you talking about?
My stuffing is usually pretty soft, the stuffing I've got over the years.
I'm not sure what scalloped corn is.
You don't know what scalloped corn is?
The fuck is scalloped corn?
It's like the corn casserole stuff.
Okay, all right.
It's scalloped corn. Is that not what it's called?
I've never heard it called scalloped corn, but when you started describing it, I had the idea of what you meant.
What is it?
Corn casserole.
Oh man, we always call it scalloped corn. Maybe my family's from Towanda, so maybe like it's just a Towanda thing. But yes, whatever you want to call it, corn casserole, scallop, whatever it might be. All right.
Okay. Sorry to hijack your show here, MJ.
No. Hijack away. This is our show. Our show.
Number 5, I'm going to mashed potatoes. A lot of heavy hitters left in the list for me. So mashed potatoes in at 5.
Doesn't even crack my top 10. Go ahead, Clarky.
I'm with the MJ. Mashed potatoes does not crack my top 10. My number 5 is, before I give my number 5, real quick, while we're on the Towanda thing, do any of you guys call the yams or sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top? Have you ever heard that called poon before, or is that just me?
I've heard a lot of other things called poon.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, moving on. My number 5 is pumpkin pie.
Okay, pumpkin pie. That's also a little overrated for me, but I appreciate there's some nostalgia to the pumpkin pie.
A tough crowd here with MJ.
Yeah. All right, Bill, what do you got?
Number 5, the olive and pickle tray. You know that little decorative glass dish that everyone puts out, and they load it up with pickles and olives? Love that. Big fan.
I don't even know if I thought of that one when I was thinking of a top 5.
I like it because that's what I'm picking at the whole time until I eat, because that stuff won't fill you up.
That's true.
I like that you brought up the decorative dish.
It's got to be in that decorative glass dish.
And Bill, I know you brought up the hard-boiled eggs, like the deviled eggs. Is it always in the deviled egg like little container where they can like carry it?
Each individual slot for an egg.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic. All right, Bill. So give us you're dropping. We're gonna do this like NFL draft style, like a little snake draft. So you got 5. Now you got 4.
Number 4, cranberry sauce, but it has to be the jellied one out of the can. Pop it open, slop it out, cut it up. That's great. Not keep the real stuff away from me. I want the jelly out of the can.
Thanksgiving's not about health, so I appreciate that one. Clarky?
For my number 4, I had cranberry sauce, and it had to be the jelly kind that comes in a can. Don't give me any of that real mashed up cranberry stuff. It's the gelatin cranberry out of slice it up real nice. Perfect.
Fun story before my 4th about the cranberry sauce. For one Thanksgiving, the roommate was asking my family what to bring, and they said, "Why don't you bring the cranberry sauce?" And she went out of her way to make homemade cranberry sauce. It was not touched.
Everybody loves the fake shit.
Yep. Number 4 would be rolls for me. A good homemade roll, baked that day. That's number 4.
Do any of you guys with your rolls, like you get some butter in them, and it might not even be like smooth butter. You almost got like a brick of butter on there, and then you smash it. You got to smash it down almost into like this flat bread type thing, and then that's what I do at least. But in number 4 of the Thanksgiving food list here, I gotta go with it. It's a little nostalgia. My mom's mac and cheese. I know that's a little bit of a homer bet there. Mac and cheese isn't maybe necessarily a tradition for everybody, but my mom makes mac and cheese for it every single year. It's gotten a little worse over the years. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Only because she does make it now a little healthier with my daughter's allergy, so it doesn't have like the egg aspect in it. Because Marley's allergic to eggs, the pasta is a little different and everything. But man, back in the day, if she's gonna make her mac and cheese the way she wants to make it, fucking awesome, the best. That's the 4 spot for me. Moving on to number 3, I got maybe a little bit of controversial, but I really enjoy it. Green bean casserole. Green bean casserole sitting at number 3. I don't always appreciate green beans as much as maybe some other people, but that green bean casserole slaps every single year. You might even say it's got me feeling nicey. You might even say it's got me feeling nicey. So that's my 3 spot, the green bean casserole. Wally, back to you for number 3.
Number 3, I think it's fitting number for this because it really holds the meal together. Gravy. It just brings, it brings it all together. It's running all across the plate. It's covering your taters, your stuffing, your turkey. You're taking a little bit of each, but that gravy is the binder of the meal.
Love it. Clarky?
Oh, real quick, MJ, I got to kind of say this here. My family has a running joke with green bean casserole. My Uncle Dana used to make it every single year, and it would never be touched by anybody, ever. Green bean casserole, get it out of here. That's
damn, dude.
Thanksgiving, man. Too healthy. Number 3 for me, this was my curveball. I had turkey at 5, and I brought everything down 1 because you mentioned it doesn't have to be food. I'm going with, it might sound bad, but I'm going with alcohol, man.
Hell yeah.
I start drinking at about 11 a.m., and I will drink until about 5, take a little napsy, go out to the bars in downtown Lidditz or Lancaster. I've done it every year. So number 3, especially a nice IPA.
God damn. I wish I was feeling better. I'd have a drink with you guys right now. All right, Bill, down to you for your 3rd and 2nd on the list.
3rd and then 2nd. 3rd, I got pumpkin pie. It is your classic Thanksgiving pie. A lot of tradition, the rest of my list. So what I like about pumpkin pie is when you do the big family Thanksgiving, it's usually something that everyone just grabs on their way to the dinner. So you end up with 3 or 4 full pumpkin pies that don't even get ate. I like to, take 1 or 2 of those home and just spoon them out during the week. No slices, just eat it straight out of the tin. So that's my number 3. Number 2, mashed potatoes. It's boring, but I gotta have them. They hold the whole meal together, especially if that turkey ends up a little bit dry. You slop it in that, mashed potatoes and the gravy. I lumped gravy in with my mashed potatoes as well. But that's my number 2.
Okay. Clarky, back to you.
For my number 2, I'm going to go, they have to be filled. They cannot be those dry, airy ones, but I'm going to go with a nice dinner roll for number 2 for me.
Wow. That's high for a roll. I like it, though.
I love bread, man.
It. Wally?
For number 2, I'm going to go the turkey leg. Specifically the leg. While turkey itself is great, the turkey leg is the best part of it. And and if you're lucky enough to sneak off that leg, that's a high prize.
I mean, I love it. My number 2 is a little off tradition again, but sort of on what you guys were talking about. I love pumpkin pie. It's definitely in my top 10, but it's not my number 2. My number 2 is a good old-fashioned apple pie. I'm not a big pie eater, but if I had to choose from, typically it's cherry pie and pumpkin pie and apple pie. Sometimes family will bring over a blueberry. There's 7 different pies. If I have to pick one, it's that apple pie. I go for it every year. I make sure I have a nice warm slice of it. I love the aspect of afterwards. I can warm some up later, throw a little vanilla ice cream on top.
Oh yeah,
it's so good. I can't keep it out of my top 5. Apple pie is number 2, and for my number 1, nostalgia. Everything Thanksgiving, it has to be turkey for me. Turkey is not my favorite meat, I wouldn't say, but it's Thanksgiving. You kill the turkey, you eat the turkey. I love the aspect of having the leftovers later on the day. If you ate a little early, you're making your turkey sandwiches, you can cut it up, throw it in a side salad, whatever it might be the next day. You have it for you. To me, it's everything Thanksgiving. It has to be my number 1, and I think that tops off my list very, very well. Wally?
Number 1 for me will be pumpkin roll. It is something I only get typically at Thanksgiving, and I really have to restrain myself in the post-dinner hour to not take too many slices. You've been drinking all day, your stomach's a little full, you eat too many slices of pumpkin roll, been known to do that, and you end up with a sick tummy. But pumpkin roll is delicious. You just see it in the fridge. It's wrapped up in tinfoil, and you just sit in there and you eye it out, and you're like, ooh, that pumpkin roll's going down tonight.
Clarky, on to you, number one.
This wouldn't be a true hangout or if we didn't attack somebody.
Hell
so
yeah.
I'm gonna attack Joel real quick, even though he's not even here. This isn't as bad as Joel not eating a fucking piece of lettuce in his entire life. But I will say I've never had a piece of apple pie before. Never.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That nuts. I'm not a fan of warm apples. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I respect it. I respect it.
It's not for me. I like my pies cold. For number one for me, I was a little upset to hear all you guys throw it off the board at the beginning of it, but it's got to be stuffing for me. Love stuffing, especially inside the turkey. You get that greasy, just wet stuffing from inside of the turkey itself, but that's going to be my number one. I'll have like 4 or 5 helpings of that stuff.
Any crunch in that stuffing of yours, Clark? Or
no, the stuffing that I
scalloped?
It is wet bread.
Fuck you guys. Listen. Just real quick, there's no like little pieces. What is that shit in there? Like onion or whatever in there? Little couple pieces of like crunchy onion or whatever
If
it
you
is.
cook it, the onions are soft.
Yeah, but they're a little crunchy. Just a little bite. I don't know. I like
you gotta check your oven, man.
Well, I don't cook it. I just eat the damn thing. All right, Bill, finish this off. My
Number
list
one.
is the best already.
Number one is turkey. Like you and Wally both said, tradition, but like with Wally said, the leg is my favorite part of the turkey. Everything revolves around the turkey at Thanksgiving. You got your turkey bowl, all your decorations are turkeys. They're giving away the turkey legs in the football games. And then the best part is the sandwiches later. You can't beat the late turkey sandwich after a day of booze, football, and a bunch of other food.
Now, I got a question for you guys about this sandwich. Have any of you guys ever done turkey, cranberry sauce, the gelatin kind, mayonnaise, and just white bread?
Oh, yeah.
Sandwich? Oh, man.
You spread that jellied cranberry on there like you're spreading jelly on toast.
Yes. I'll even put the stuffing.
Oh, yeah.
I basically whatever's left over, green bean casserole. I'll put all of it on a sandwich if I need to. I'll put it on there. It's like just having Thanksgiving dinner again between 2 slices of bread. It's delicious. It's the best.
See, what you got to do is you got to steal some of those rolls from dinner, and you make your sandwiches out of the rolls.
That's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea.
Can I
plan on? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I was just going to piggyback on something that Clark said about how he took a shot at Joel, and how one time we suggested having a food podcast on Ole Walls House to discuss Joel's incredible eating habits, and I'm just glad he caught a stray here today because he shot that down on us. So he has to eat it a little bit now.
Listen, I actually thought about inviting him to do this segment with us today. But I was kind of worried that I was like, I don't know what if he just has like chicken tenders for Thanksgiving? Like, and I'm not trying to I love Joel. Joel's a great friend. If you're listening, Joel, I love you to death. But I was like, maybe he doesn't eat at Thanksgiving. I don't know, like, does he?
I don't think
turkey
they celebrate Thanksgiving at Campbell's restaurant, so he probably has himself a good General Tso's.
They serve it up
Christmas,
at
though.
Buffalo Wild Wings, maybe. His list would only have like 3 spots, 3 chicken nuggets, 2 Code Red Mountain Dew, 1 regular Mountain Dew. That's Thanksgiving for him.
We love you, Joel. All right, so what I plan on doing, boys, is maybe trying to put this out on our socials there and give our listeners a chance to, compare our top 5s and pick who had the best one. We'll see. We'll have a little competition to see who has the best one. So I'll try to get that going for us. So anything else for the greater good or anything else with Thanksgiving before we kind of close this down?
I can't wait to have a great day at Thanksgiving and it be completely ruined that night for me.
Oh, Green Bay playing?
Yeah. It just feels like a game they're going to drop. The Dolphins.
Yeah. Is that at home?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Thanksgiving in Miami? That's just wrong.
Oh, it is at home. It is at home. I lied. Never mind. I feel a little better.
That feels right.
I thought it was in Miami for some reason.
Well, the Cowboys get the Giants after benching Daniel Jones. So
absolute bullshit, man. The Cowboys should play the Redskins / Commanders, and the freaking Packers should play the Lions, like God intended it should be.
I love it.
And that's it.
That'd be fantastic.
We don't need to see the freaking Seahawks and the 49ers we don't need to see that.
Yeah, the Dolphins on Thanksgiving just doesn't make sense.
Dumb.
I agree. All right, boys. Well, speaking of Thanksgiving, I'm super thankful for you guys every week, every day. I love all three of you. You guys are doing a great job. And if you guys ever need anything, just let me know. And we'll do this again.
Sounds good, man. Everybody enjoy their holiday. Enjoy your families. Have some nice time off.
All right, boys. Anything else?
You're doing great, MJ. Proud to have the FullRange podcast, part of the newly formed Ole Walls House Podcast Network.
I love it. All right, boys. You guys have a good rest of your week and enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'll be talking to you shortly.
See you, fellas.